here live to talk about eFoods, something I think everybody on this call is pretty excited about. And if you have been involved with eFoods in the past or are currently involved with eFoods, then you know how exciting this is, and that's why you're here. And for those people who are not involved with us and may be seeing this for the first time, I hope you see the vision that we see and why we're so excited to share this message with you. This is a message about feeding your freedom, and that can mean a lot of different things. But I want to give you a little bit of background first about food. Food is our greatest dependency. There's not a single person in the world who does not need food or isn't dependent on it. Our bodies are made to have hunger pains and cravings for food. It's something that without it, we don't survive. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the world who really suffer because they don't have the access to the food that so many of us have. We'll talk about that soon, but I want to get down to what most of us experience on a daily basis. Let me tell you a little bit about me, about what happens in my day. My husband and I are very, very busy. We're very fortunate because we both get to work from home, but we're very busy. And it's not uncommon in past times that my family would come to me and they would say, "What's for dinner tonight?" And I wouldn't have even thought of what was for dinner. To be honest, I could look at the clock and realize it was 8 o'clock and I'd completely forgotten about dinner. I would have been busy all the way through that time and realized I hadn't taken anything out to defrost, or I just hadn't thought of it. So we would get takeout pretty regularly. We'd hop in the car, we'd go out to eat, we'd all eat cereal, or we'd just fend for ourselves. And that was a pretty typical experience in our home. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is, and that's what we experienced for a long, long time. And that's changed. There's some statistics that explain why people are so busy and what happens at night at the dinner table. Well, 78% of women with children do work outside the home. 31% of households are single-parent homes. 28% of families eat together nightly. That's it, 28%. 24% of families eat together 3 times a week or less. And 20% of teenagers report that they eat fast food on either a daily basis or several days a week. I think those numbers are pretty alarming, to be honest with you. Those numbers, to me, are somewhat astounding. When we talk about eating out and our kids going out to eat, the cost for somebody to eat out is pretty high. In fact, Americans spend 40% of their food budget eating out. Restaurant meals, in addition to the cost, are also high in calories. They contain 60% more calories than a meal cooked at home. The average meal for somebody who eats out is $8 a meal. That's going off of fast food. Not going to a nice restaurant, just fast food. But the average cost of a meal that's home cooked is $4.50 per person. Now, when you think about larger families, in my family, we have a pretty big family. My husband and I, between us, we have, the Brady Bunch family of 8 kids, and the 2 of us. That's a lot of people to feed, and the cost of food can be extremely expensive. There's also a social cost of eating dinner, and the social cost is what happens when you eat together as a family. Teenagers that eat with their families are 3 times a week or less are 3.5 times more likely to abuse prescription drugs, 3 times more likely to use marijuana, 2.5 times more likely to smoke cigarettes, and 1.5 times more likely to use alcohol. It's worse because children who eat with their families are more, or who do not eat with their families are more likely to suffer from depression, obesity, eating disorders, and suicide compared to kids who eat with their families on a regular basis. They don't suffer from those things nearly as much. And it's very, very clear, the research, and this comes from the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University, it's very, very clear that children's grades are better in school if they eat with their family at dinner time. As a mom, those numbers really, really jump out to me. So the cover of Time magazine said it very, very well not long ago. Kids who dine with their families are healthier, happier, and better students. So for any parents or grandparents out there, prospective parents, eating with your family is really impactful on how your family is going to evolve over time. Well, let's talk about some other realities with food. There's some pretty harsh realities when you look around at the calamities that happen in the world And you see pictures on the news of the grocery stores that are empty and the earthquakes that happened on the East Coast not long ago, the grocery stores being empty in a very short period of time. But what's happening within your own neighborhood? Well, in your own neighborhood, things aren't so good either, and you may not know that from looking on the outside. Things look one way on the outside. On the inside, they may be totally different. 50.2 million Americans live in food insecure households. Food insecure means that you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. That equates to 1 in 6 children in America being food insecure. Look around your own neighborhoods and think about the people in your neighborhoods. What you may think is okay very well may not be okay. There are 19 million American families that are working and poor, and this means that they have at least one person in the household who is working full-time. Worldwide, there are 1 billion people who go to bed hungry at night, and 1/3 of children in the world under 5 suffer from severe malnutrition. You want to get down to the really, really ugly numbers, and you think about just how long we've been talking so far. We've been talking just over 6 minutes. Divide that up. In that amount of time, every 3.6 seconds, somebody in the world starved to death. There is a lot of waste also happening that can make a tremendous difference. Developed countries, the U.S., throws away 1/3 to 1/2 of all of its food produced. As you can see, there are a lot of problems associated with food, and it's something that every single one of us needs. And all of us have the opportunity to be an instrument of change when it comes to food and the necessity that people have for it. Because when you can't pay your house payment one month, or you can't maybe afford to pay a credit card bill because of hard times, that's one thing. It's something entirely different when you realize you don't have money to buy food for your family. There's a different emotion associated with that. We can change some things. The solution to this is eFoods. eFoods are family-sized gourmet meals that cook in 15 minutes or less. They are entrees, side dishes, baked goods, milk, beverages. These are dishes that are so simple and easy to prepare, and they are also nutritious. One of the things I love about these foods is that our families absolutely love them. The time that I talked about when our family wasn't sitting down for dinner together, and the times when our family was just getting fast food or takeout, those days are over, because now we have these amazing meals that the whole family loves. All I have to do is tear off the top of the pouch, add water, heat it, and we eat it. And it's so fast. It's also portable, and it's also storable. And I want to talk to you more about that part in just a minute. These foods are very nutritious. When you go to fast food, when you go to the grocery store and you pick up things that are just quick heat and eat, one of the things that you will find is that they're often full of hydrogenated oils and preservatives. They're often full of tremendous amounts of sodium and MSG. These are high-quality, best-quality ingredient products that have no hormones, no GMOs, no hydrogenated oils. We never use MSG in the products. Also, many of these dishes are vegan and gluten-free, and every one of the dishes that eFoods has available for you is kosher certified. So we know that we're using incredible quality ingredients. These are also packaged in a proprietary way that allows it to have an extended shelf life. It's best if it's used within 25 years, but it can last indefinitely if you keep it in a cool, dark place. We've done this without the use of dangerous preservatives. These products have been packaged, they've been dehydrated, and then they've been packaged in light, transportable, storable packaging that has been free of any oxygen, so there's no chance that bacteria can grow in it. It's packaged in Mylar, which prevents light from getting in, which can damage the quality of the product or the length that the product can hold its nutritional value. When you see this picture of this lady storing this food under her bed, one box of food can hold a couple dozen meals, and those can be stored under a bed, even in the smallest of places. I know somebody who is storing theirs in a hall closet, in a suitcase, and if something were to happen, they could pick up their food and they could run, and they would have a whole suitcase packed with months' worth of food for them and their little baby. So we have a mantra at eFoods, and our mantra is serve, save, share. So I want to talk about serving first. What's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Well, it can be eFoods. You can take the stress out of dinner and start eating with your family again, and it's great for any person's circumstances. It doesn't matter if you're in a family, if you're single, if it's just a couple. maybe students or traveling, camping, or anything else. This is truly food on the go that is available to you at any time. Serve it a few times a week. One of the things that you will find serving this to your family a few times a week is that you will not be spending more money on your groceries. You will be saving money on your groceries by doing this. Save some of this food. Think of this as a personal food savings account. When you buy eFoods, take a few of the meals and set them aside. Deposit them into your personal food savings account because you never know when you're going to have to make one of those withdrawals. Here's what FEMA said. FEMA is a Federal Emergency Management Agency, and they said, if an earthquake, hurricane, winter storm, or other disaster strikes your community, you might not have access to food, water, and electricity for days or even weeks. By taking some time now to store emergency food and water supplies, you can provide for your entire family. As you stock food, take into account your family's unique needs and tastes. Familiar foods are important. They lift morale and give a feeling of security in times of stress. I grew up in California. We had earthquakes. And when I was, before I moved away to go to college, there was an earthquake that damaged a lot of our neighbors' homes. The epicenter of it wasn't far from where we lived. But it didn't damage our home too bad, but we were without power for a couple of weeks. And my family had been storing wheat. I don't know what my mom and dad thought we were going to do with all these giant cans of wheat, but they didn't really help us in that time of emergency. We were fortunate because we had a generator, and we were able to keep a lot of our perishables cold during those couple of weeks that we didn't have power. But our neighbors who didn't have the luxury of the generator, all of their food went bad. Everybody was out barbecuing in the streets to get rid of the food in their freezers because everything was spoiling, and there was nothing at the grocery stores. Had my parents had eFoods, we would not have had the stress that we had during that earthquake. And there are tremendous tragedies all over the world where people would not have the stress that they're having if they did not have to worry about food. So make that deposit into your personal food savings account on a regular basis. That savings account will grow, and you can make withdrawals from it when you really need it most. And the last thing that we want to encourage is share this message. This is a message of food and freedom, and having the stress taken out of feeding your family or feeding yourself really does give you a new kind of freedom. This is an incredible message. You share the message, you share the food, and you make a difference in the lives of other people, the people you care about and the people that you want to have the same freedom that you have. All of this is backed up by an incredible company. This is a company that has 30 years of successful history. The difference that this company has gone to now is that for 30 years there was advertising through the direct sales method of radio, maybe some print ads. And there were a few thousand people that were able to be reached on an annual basis. But not nearly enough people could be reached through that method. And so the company began thinking forward and thinking, how do we reach more people? How do we encourage people to have this food that will change their lives, that will make their lives easier and save them money, and also provide them some peace of mind as well? Well, they went to the network marketing model. There is no other model in the world that allows people to share something with other people and to give people hope and an income on top of sharing a great message. This is a debt-free company. It's a company that's forward-thinking, that has all of its food and raw materials secured so that you don't have to worry if this company is going to be able to provide its products. It does its own manufacturing. The management of the individuals at the top of this company running it have over 200 years of combined experience, and they are going to reach millions and millions of people, and we want to invite you to be a part of that crusade with us in reaching millions of people and sharing this message. So what's in it for you to do that? Well, the first thing that will happen is we will show you that you can save money on your food budget. This truly is a transfer purchase. There is no additional cost out of your pocket to own your own eFoods business. You'll get a website. You'll have the ability to track your business, a website that people can buy the products right off of, and you're going to get paid anytime somebody buys food. It gives you the ability to share the message with other people where they can buy the food as well, and they can join, and everything that happens within their circle of influence, you get to benefit from as well.